What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you today?
We're doing great. We're getting closer to the big, beautiful bill. We're record numbers of people getting kicked out of the country. We are making peace. We're doing strength. We're unbelievable, unbelievable things. People are saying they've never seen an administration this strong before and this effective. So we're feeling very good.
Very nice. That's awesome. You did bring up the big, beautiful bill. How is that big, beautiful bill going?
It passed the House, which we were thankful. Mike Johnson got it right through the House. And now it's in the Senate, and we're really concerned right now. A couple of senators are grandstanding, like Rand Paul. They want more cuts to the poor people stuff. They want more Medicaid cuts. And then other people like Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, which is, big state with not a lot of people. They probably wouldn't
Mm,
even miss her if she went and got disappeared.
okay.
But she's starting to talk a little bit of trash and like she's not sure if she wants to back the bill. And I say, okay, darling, let's see what happens. You ever see True Detective Night Country when they were up there and all of a sudden Billie Eilish is playing and Jodie Foster can't find you?
Well, I heard Elon Musk, not a huge fan of it. He tweeted something, and then after he tweeted it, Gavin Newsom agreed with him. And then after that, Marjorie Taylor Greene agreed. So that is like
We call that one
that
Beauty
is
and
the
the
human
Beasts.
I was gonna say that is the human centipede of chaos right there.
Well, as a Christian who never goes to church, I want to keep it clean and say Beauty and the Beasts. That's what we call it. It's Gavin Newsom with his troll Elon and his gargoyle Marjorie Taylor Greene. What a pair of monsters those are.
Now what happened with Elon? Elon was your brosif, your right hand man. I mean, one UFC ago, and then the next UFC, no one's in attendance. No Elon broing it up. You had a falling out. What's going on? Can you give us some intel on this little
Well, there was a
relationship, this failed
there
bromance?
well there was a girl a group called Belle Biv DeVoe. I don't know if you remember them, but they
Yes.
said never trust a big bank account and an Asperger. That guy is special. You can't trust him. He's not quite all there. He's on a different plane thinking, and you think he's being rational, and he's playing video games. The guy plays video games and does drugs. This is not what you want out of a 53-year-old CEO tech entrepreneur guy.
You don't think
Ketamine. You ever heard of ketamine? He loves ketamine.
yeah, I mean there are lots of studies being done on ketamine. It's I think it helps with
Now
depression.
I know you're a bro Rogan guy, but trust me, this guy's doing ketamine like, they say very dangerous levels of ketamine. Like
Uh,
instead of chamomile tea at night, he would have ketamine tea. That's how much ketamine he was doing.
okay. That's a warrior right there. Um, you don't think drugs can open your mind up to different things that you don't think about when you're sober?
I mean, the guy wants to go to Mars. He plays video games all day. I think his mind is open. I think it's open. I think we have to close it a little bit. I think somebody left the front door open and Elon's mind is somewhere up the ass of some, IVF tube.
Um, so no more Elon. He called this new tax cut here, the big beautiful bill, a disgusting abomination. That's what he called it.
Well, he was probably looking in the mirror, let's be honest.
So it does now that is Elon you coexisting with him or is he on enemy lines right now?
We are currently co-parenting the destruction of America. We are not friends anymore. It was too difficult to work together, but we have assured America that we will co-parent its destruction. Don't you worry. There's poor people are still going to die and starve, and rich people are still going to get tremendous amounts of wealth handed to them. But it's just more important that daddy and daddy be separate so that we can do it the right way and kill lots of poor people the right way, not in a way that's going to be upsetting.
Yes, I saw lots of interviews and videos coming into my feed from people whose food stamps have been cut dramatically to the point where they can't feed their family. Thoughts on that?
You know what? I counter that. See, this is the great thing about the rich. When things don't go our way, we don't do social media videos. We suck it up and we pull ourselves up by
Or you
our
get rid of the person who's the problem.
we pull ourselves up by our Gucci bootstraps and we just tackle the next thing. So I have a friend, and he recently told me that he was having a little bit of trouble making payments on his fourth house in Turks and Caicos. Not his fourth house, the fourth house in Turks and Caicos that he owns. It's, I think, probably his 19th home around the globe.
Okay.
And he was practically in tears. And I said, help is on the way. The big, beautiful bill is on the way. But you don't see him doing so. He kept it private. You didn't see him social media posting about how horrible and tough his life is. He's fighting through and he's relying on his president. And whoever these food stamps people are, instead of getting food stamps, you should maybe get food. Food is a
Uh,
lot tastier than food stamps.
the food stamps enables them to get food.
What do they like mail a certificate back somewhere and then like in 6 to 8 weeks you get like some canned goods mailed to you, Amazon?
You go, congratulations, you ate 3 cans of broccoli. That's your food stamps. No, you have your food stamps, and then they give them to there. Basically, it's money just
Hey,
to buy food.
you know what's better than food stamps? Money.
Money, yeah, I know, but the thing is that these people
They
don't
should try
have.
going after money. They should try getting some money. I mean, the money that we don't take from them to give to my friend so he can keep paying off his Turks and Caicos mansion. Number four, fourth mansion. That's the one where the kids of his second mistress live.
It's very, very kind of him. Very, very kind of him. What is the future of Elon Musk?
Probably floating into space with Tom Cruise in his next movie, and
Okay.
they'll just both go find planets.
Do you think you two will work closely again, or it's a
Look,
marriage that can't happen?
I respect Egon. Okay, he's a smart guy. He's accomplished a lot. You can't take that away. Just because there was a difficulty in terms of personality and now he's saying nasty things. I'm not stupid enough to say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's done tremendous things. Okay, great business guy, great mind. Probably the second greatest mind after mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to respect that. But obviously you have to work together. It doesn't help if somebody is genius or this, but you can't work. You can't work with them. So I hope he goes back to business. When he's doing well in business, it's good for the country. And I hope he does that. And you know, if he doesn't and he keeps running his mouth, obviously Secret Service may view him as a threat. We may view him as deportable. We might have to deport Egon. You
Send them back
know,
to Mars.
we'll send him back to South Africa and we'll put him on a farm so he can be a white farmer and get murdered.
Okay.
It's murder. Elon.
You're a big Ja Rule fan?
Who?
Ja Rule.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is? He was
Never
the
heard of
king.
him.
He was one of the guys with Fire Festival leading the
Oh,
way.
Fire. Oh, well, no, we know that. We know Firefest, of course. Oh,
Hmm.
I didn't realize he was a great entrepreneur.
Yes, he was one of the main artists. He's actually touring this summer, Ja Rule. I saw.
Oh, that should be fun. I
Yes.
bet, maybe he'll do a double tour with Kid Rock.
A Ja Rule and Kid Rock tour. That's
Rock
something
rules. There it is. It's called branding. Let's go branding.
um that would be an interesting crowd for the Ja Rule Kid Rock tour. Rock rules.
It would be a great mixing of all the talented and smart people. If you bought Firefest tickets and shot a can of Bud Light with a gun, you might like this festival. A real genius factory.
Um, Also, I think Elon's also mad because he had this Doge group and trying to eliminate government debt, and this new big beautiful bill is going to increase the deficit by a few trillion, right? So you do the opposite of
No, it's
what
not. No, it's not gonna. That's he's paranoid. He's listening to the fake news. It's not going to increase the deficit by trillions. It's going to increase wealth by trillions. Because here's the thing. Yes, there's cuts going to the wealthy, but when the wealthy get those tax cuts, what they're going to do is ramp up production. They're going to build factories here, and we'll spend trillions, but we'll make billions.
is. I think billions are less than trillions, Mr. President. It's
Well, no,
opposite day.
you gotta know your math. I didn't. I know you're a tech stuff guy, but you'd think they'd have math at tech stuff school. No, it's trust me. It's we're spending trillions, but in the end, we're gonna win because we're gonna be making billions. There's
I
a
don't know.
reason billions had a show and trillions didn't. Tech stuff. There's sort of a
Okay.
reason for that.
There probably is. Isn't there a bigger number than that? Isn't what's after that, Mr. President? There has to be
There's
someone
something
richer than that.
something tells me I once heard somebody refer to a quadrillion. Let's look up what
A
a quadrillion
quadrillion.
is. Quadrillion
Ooh.
sounds like a guy who's like a fourth black.
Quadrillion.
A quadrillion.
Is there any quadrillionaires out there?
How much is one quadrillion? One quadrillion is 1,000 trillions. That's pretty good. That's my goal. I want to be that rich.
You want to be a quadrillionaire?
I want to be a quadrillionaire. So effing bad. Then you can buy everything that everyone has had.
Now, before we get to the next story, Mr. President, just want to invite all the listeners out there to join the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. Hundreds of hours of bonus content, special guests, special shows, live episodes. You don't want to miss it. Patreon.com/MPGA. Also, extra episodes every single month. Patreon.com/MPGA. Mr. President, you want to wipe out funding for PBS and NPR. Is it because they're left leaning?
Well, it's because whenever Ivanka has PBS, she's in a real bad mood and she doesn't want to talk to daddy as much. So I think every man can agree we need to get rid of uh, PBS. And as far as NPR, or as I like to call it, NP Hard R, they're radical left. They're horrible. They report stupid things. They're so stupid. They should have hide behind the nerdiness to act like they're doing important things, but when they're really just sort of nerds who don't do important things, they actually do unimportant things, which are not important.
Okay. I don't know if PBS and NPR uh, stand for those things, but it's also, I mean, people love the programming on PBS, NPR. It's very popular among the left. Is that more of the reason because
I didn't
the
even
left
know they were
enjoy it?
popular. I didn't even know they were popular on the left. I just know that they create boring content that is often radical left in terms of its stupidity. And where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? If you couldn't solve that one years ago, what the hell are we still funding you for?
Did you enjoy that show, Mr. President?
Well, I was hoping, I was sort of like, where is she? Maybe this is might be like sort of a hot Brazilian model or something that we have to find. And I feel like they never found her and she was not hot. And and they had that, remember Rockapella? They had like an a cappella group that thought
I,
they were
I
cool.
was I was a huge fan of them actually. I like the guy who had the low voice.
Okay,
The guy
where
where
in the
in the
world?
world
Well, we could
Corbin
add them to the
Sandiego.
Well, they would work. They would work. Obviously, they could be part of Rock Rules because they're a cappella.
This this tour is turning out to be awesome. You have Ja
Rockapella,
Rule,
Kid Rock,
Kid
Ja
Rock.
Rule.
You need like two more artists a part of it.
But we
But
need artists that have rock or rule in their name. Anybody with rule?
but now you're bringing more youth in. Also, you're bringing um
Oh yeah, nothing more youthful than the kids program from 30 years ago.
well, those people have kids. They're going to bring their kids to show them who. That's how it goes usually. That's why they
All right, put on
remake
the
all these
earmuffs
shows.
when Kid
So,
Rock is singing.
well, he could headline and they can leave before Kid Rock goes on. There has to be other rock or rules. I don't know. We'll think about that. Um, Now, Mr. President, talking about the left before, um, you're usually the inventor of nicknames. Just wanted to ask you, if you were going to give Elon a nickname, what nickname would you give him?
His nickname would be his nickname should be obviously he's a tech guy, but he's weird. Um, I would say you got to be clever because he's smart. I would say Weird Elon. That's a good one.
Weird Elon? I thought it'd be something. All right. Now, the left has come up with something about you, and they're calling it taco. Trump always, yeah,
Before we get to taco,
yeah.
because it's disgraceful. There is a Okay, well we've got our tour wrapped up. I know this is important. We have to wrap this.
I was
There
just
is a
working on the
band,
tour also.
there is a hardcore punk band in Northern Virginia called Majority Rule. And then I'm even more impressed with this one, a power metal band from Germany named
Yes.
Mob Rules.
I
And
like mob rules.
I'm pretty sure Mob Rules is not woke.
I don't think so.
So we're gonna go with Rockapella and Kid Rock, and I bet you Rockapella and Mob Rules will get together, but we'll get along great. Rockapella, Kid Rock, Ja Rule, Mob Rules, greatest concert in the history of our country.
If anyone can get that concert poster, that would be a dream come true. I'll give you you can if you're not a Patreon member, free invites to the live episodes for 3 months if you're not a Patreon member to make this
That is
fair.
a tremendous deal.
Yes. A rock poster, rock rules tour. If someone makes it, we will definitely need to print some up, and we'll just put it up for free to people could take the logo and print one for yourself because a rock rules tour poster would be fucking awesome. Um, so how do you feel about this taco nickname? Trump always chickens out. I mean, I feel like that's really I think it's a solid nickname, and I think it gets under your skin.
Well, it's stupid because it's not true. It's obviously not true, and they're rooting against our country by saying that because I'm making great deals. If I were going to say taco, I would say Trump assaults Caucasian orifices as a sort of more appropriate taco because I go strong. And you can ask any number of women if I chicken out, okay? I don't care if they're saying no. I don't care if they're saying please don't. I do not chicken out. You can ask many women. Many women will say that I do not chicken out. In fact, I do the opposite of chicken out. I'm too brave. I'm too strong.
What would be the opposite of chicken out? What animal in?
It's a great question. Yeah, okay, bok, 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 a chicken out. You leave the chicken out, and I'd say I bull in. Did you
I
see
like
how they get mad and they go, I bull in. It's
That's
called
great.
Bolin.
I like Bolin. Um,
Take my breath away. The band Bolin did Take My Breath Away. Top Gun
I,
soundtrack.
I am impressed though with this nickname that the left is running with because I feel like that's very unleft
It's
to
been a
make up a
while. It's
nickname.
been tech stuff. It's interesting. You
Yeah.
just reminded me with that comment. It's been way too long since I said special words. You're fired. This is your last episode. So enjoy the left. Enjoy their great nicknames. We'll find somebody who maybe is more respectful when it comes to good and bad nicknames about their president.
What I'm saying is that the left, I don't think would ever, they would think nicknames is too good for them. That's something that Trump would do. And now I feel they're being beaten so bad they have to use some of your strategies.
Maybe, but they are being beaten so bad. It's so tremendous. I love it.
Okay. Um, Now, when you were running, you were all about Latino voters, and now your approval among Latino voters is crashing and going down. What are your thoughts on this?
It's uh it's Latino voters. I can be honest here. This is my podcast. We like their votes. We don't like them. Okay. They're loud. They do the dancing. They do the salsa. Their food is spicy. Yeah, they're okay. I wouldn't say they're my least favorite people, but they're okay. They do some things that are okay. And mostly that thing is when they vote for me. So I would say that this community needs to really realize something. Support me, or you could be next to get deported. How about that?
Well, there are people going around New York City now, um, deporting people. Do you plan to spread this to every city in the country just for just ICE agents to be constantly moving in on people?
I was elected to get these people the hell out of our country, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, can you leave the people in my neighborhood alone because I uh, I got some work done on my house and I need it finished.
But you can have it finished by strong, overpriced, lazy American workers, like
No,
a
thank you.
patriot should. But that's how we know you're not a patriot.
Nope.
You know what? Maybe we'll stop by your house while they're doing the work and say, interesting. I think we might have to arrest the family that lives here as well.
What crime would I be committing?
Illegal use of immigrant labor. It's a new law we just passed in my head. It's a very strong law.
And by breaking that strong law in your head, what's the punishment?
Well, child separation. You have kids, right? Tech stuff.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well they're gonna go somewhere where you don't know, another state, and you're gonna be sent to either Djibouti or El Salvador.
Do I let to live on the streets of Djibouti or El Salvador as a free
Oh
citizen?
no, El Salvador, we have beautiful accommodations for you in El Salvador, so don't you worry about that.
Seems like a raw deal here, Mr. President.
Well, it is, but you know what? Maybe you'll just get some strong American workers to finish your work. Thank you.
How do you think Latino voters who voted for you and then are now possibly being deported feel?
It's an old reference, but I think it still applies. It's like the greatest episode of Punked. In fact, I think we should put this on Netflix.
So how would the episode go?
We have a camera crew here who's going to visit the Maldonado family, who all 8 members of the family voted for Trump because they were certain that their friend Hector was going to be allowed to stay in the country. But ICE agents just left the building after beating Hector to death and still taking his dead carcass to El Salvador just to be eaten by crows. Let's see what they think.
when do
Hector.
you and Ashton Kutcher come
Hello.
in?
Excuse me.
Okay,
Excuse
sorry.
me. You're ruining the show. Now I have to do it again. Hector, no. Where Hector? Excuse me, is this the Maldonado family? Mr. President, what happened? Well, Hector, go bye-bye. Sayonara, is that how you say goodbye in Spanish? Hasta la vista, Hector. You've just been trumped.
I like it. I think it's a definite show on Netflix.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my God. Trumped. I like that show.
And just when you make the little clip, your final clip before we fire you, maybe bleep the title because the woke social media doesn't like our very raw Netflix streaming service.
Yes, I understand that. Um, all right. So I guess that's what you're going to do with your Latino voters. Now the thing is, for a third term, do you think you can pull what you've pulled already, like in other times when you were campaigning with Latino voters and pull the same trick on them? You think you can pull it off?
Well, I threw paper towels at Puerto Ricans my first term,
Right.
and they reelected me. So I don't think this will have any bearing. I think eventually, you know, eventually they'll just realize, no, Trump's better than the alternative because the other side uh, respects women's bodily autonomy and tries to be friends with the blacks. And, that's not what they want. They want Trump.
Okay. Okay. Um, you are a fan of entertainment. You've finished Netflix, and you've recently taken over the Kennedy Center as chairperson,
Chairman. We don't have to say
chairman,
chairperson. Chairman. I'm a men.
chairman, chair big man. And ticket sales have been plummeting there since you took over. Um, what do you think the reason is?
Oh, we have to launch Rock Rules.
They have the residency.
That's going to be the show that sort of brings back the Trump Kennedy Center for Conservative Patriotic Arts.
Like that. So, Rock Rules Tour, when it's put together, is going to come through and do a residency to bring ticket
Yeah, like
sales back up.
Fish, they're going to do like 8 shows at the
Okay,
center, and then by then, any band that has any patriotism will want to perform there.
I agree. That seems like a great plan to bring ticket sales back up. If ticket sales don't go back up, and I don't know, this is a waste of your time to be chairman,
We're going to
who
do
would,
live porn. We're going to do live porn on stage.
if you had to pick someone to replace you for chairman, who would it be?
Nobody would. Yeah, you think I'm going to give this up if we? Our plan B is not to switch me from chairman. It's to do live porn on
So,
the
so,
stage.
so you stay, live porn comes. I got it. So the AVN could just be streamed live on Netflix from the Kennedy Center.
Oh, it's going to be Brazzers, XBiz, AVN. Not that I know what any of these companies are, but it's going to be tremendous. The one of the great industries that our country's produced. We're going to have all those awards at the Trump Kennedy Center for Conservative Performing Arts of Patriotism.
Sounds extremely conservative. Very, very Christian of you.
It's called family values tech stuff. You gotta have family values. That's first and foremost. Without the family, oh boy, you got chaos without the family.
Of course.
And I'm gonna make JD Vance and his wife sit there with their kids and watch all of it.
I wanted to ask you about JD. Now, you and Elon are, the bromance is done. Is JD your, how does JD feel about this? We should have him on and see how he feels about Elon not being around anymore and see if he misses
Oh,
Elon or
oh, I bet everybody would love to have JD back on the show to discuss how good he feels now that Elon's out. That's a good idea.
yeah.
JD's thrilled, but you see JD, you know what, JD, a lot of respect for him
Hmm.
because he stayed he didn't, he killed a pope. He saw a new pope. He insulted the media. He insulted the left. He sort of just did his job. He never stopped doing his job. And that's what you like to see. You know, like you, if you've ever coached, you've coached sports, right? You've done
Yeah.
coaching. You know, you don't like the kid who sulks after like one game or he finds out he's playing a different position. JD Vance is the ultimate gamer and ultimate team player. You know, it's like, okay, JD,
He
you
just
know,
works harder in practice. He's that guy.
exactly. Your wife can't show up because she's brown and our supporters hate that. He's like, yes, sir, I understand, sir. You know, JD, your kids are also a little bit brown, so they're going to have things thrown at them by the other children at this rally. That's okay, sir. They're ready. Okay, JD, um, I'm going to have sex with your wife, JD, not because I like it, but because I just want to humiliate you to prove loyalty. Okay, sir, you can have her any hole, sir. He's
Very
a
loyal.
very strong and willing team player like I've never seen before.
That's awesome. That is very awesome. Maybe we'll have JD on sometime soon. Wanted to ask you the last thing, Mr. President. People, I know presidents have didn't want to really ever drill for oil or anything in Alaska or mine, and you are going to be the first president to drill and mine in Alaska. Can you tell us about this plan?
Well, Lisa Murkowski, who's maybe the dumbest and worst senator we've ever had, is talking about not backing the big, beautiful bill.
Hmm.
So we're going to drill for minerals, we're going to drill for energy in her precious state, and we're also going to dig a few graves for
Okay.
her and her family. And I think you'll see her start to maybe change her mind a little bit. Oh, sir, I think I might like this bill a little bit better now that I'm looking at an icy grave for me and my family. And so we think she's going to come around.
That sounds I don't know, inviting. I mean, when you now these graves are for the future, right? You're doing a nice gesture for her, saying, you don't have to spend the money in the future to, dig graves for your family. We're going to do that for you, right? It's
Oh,
for the
no, no,
future.
no. Her salary is going to be docked. Her government salary is definitely going to be docked for that. No, there's no doubt about that.
So the graves that you dig for her and her family, you are taxing her on that.
Yes.
Okay. Um, there's a lot of untouched nature in Alaska. People enjoy that, go hunting, and there are plenty of. Um,
I look at untouched nature the way I think about a 13-year-old Sydney Sweeney. I'm gonna touch it.
aren't you afraid about ruining Alaska?
That's the legal age of, just to be clear,
I
that's
have
the age of consent, right?
in Alaska, possibly. In Alaska, possibly.
Thailand, it was usually where
Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay,
think in
Thailand.
Thailand it is. So it's totally what I just said, excuse me, there's a lot, I can tell there's radical left people going, oh, no, no, sir. What I said was a totally legal statement. Thank you.
Yes. So you're not worried about environmentalists losing their mind
Oh
at
no,
you.
they can get graves dug for them as well.
See you now they have to pay for them, but you'll do the
No, you
labor.
know what? For them, this one's on the house.
So, okay, so you hear this. President Trump, for any environmentalist, the government will dig your grave for you free of charge.
Free of charge. It's a beautiful thing.
The
Yep.
other
Only
people have
one
to pay for
catches. As soon as it's dug, you got to get in there.
it. Dead or alive, doesn't matter. You just got to get in.
Dead or alive. So I dug your grave and I'm throwing you in there 'cause you like climate change and I fucking hate your guts. You know, remember, I think we've actually done a Dead or Alive
I think we have.
before.
I think we
That
have.
might be the look at that Bon Jovi. You know, he's a little woke, but made some tremendous songs. Great songs.
Mr. President, thank you, of course, for spending another week with us. Um, if you're not on the Patreon yet, get on the Patreon. Hundreds of hours of bonus content, live episodes, special guests, special shows as well. Patreon.com/MPGA. Also, leave a rating review on iTunes, Spotify. Helps the algorithm, and it's free. So please help us out. If you are in the Long Island area, Island Park at Michael's and Island Park on June 20th, I will be there performing some stand up comedy. And on June 23rd, if you're down the shore in New Jersey, I'll be at the Surflight Theater. That is a Monday, June 23rd at the Surflight Theater. So come on through to any of those shows. More dates coming for the summer. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for that. Hello, everybody. Hey, guys. If you were at the Ottawa show, thank you. Appreciate you. It was another good one. No gigs on the horizon for me. It might be just time to hang it up and say adios to the world of comedy. But until then, I also have my own Patreon, which is cheap and full of good stuff. And my Trump versus Canada show will be out in June on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed there. But that'll be a nice thing if everybody could watch it and share it and all that. I don't have an exact date, but it looks really, really top tier. I'm glad I wasn't even going to tape it, and then I got this guy, and he was a little expensive. But little did I know he was expensive relative to what I wanted, because he was going to do a fucking three camera shoot and make it, and so it looks fantastic. It's a funny, one of the great shows of my life. So that's just something to look forward to, I guess. That I'd love if when it comes out you watch and share. Other than that, I'm sure I'll have some more shows coming up. But for now, just go enjoy my YouTube videos and all that stuff. I had a great exchange this morning at 5 a.m. when I woke up with somebody on YouTube telling me that they thought it was, even though they commented on 43 of my videos and subscribed to my channel, they felt it was necessary to say I had a tremendous ego for charging people for content. Like I have anything so special. This is a fan, by the way. This is a fan. Like I said, he's written lots of nice comments, but apparently, he thought this charging $3 a month for some extra videos, podcasts, and content was you know unconscionable. So I then replied to him what a big fan I was of his in my usual salty language, and that's it. So there was a little glimpse behind the wall of what's really going on in the brain behind the brain of Trump. Guys, have a great week. Share this episode with somebody. I know you won't. I don't know why I say this. Don't you have friends? Don't
Don't
they have
share the
similar?
episode. Sometimes people are
Yeah,
defiant.
yeah, don't share. The last thing you should do is share this episode or any episode you like. Don't ever share it with a friend just because you have similar interests and do some of the same stuff. They definitely won't like the things you like. So don't share it. I'll be really mad if we have more listeners next week.
Yes.
God help us all.